I have to tell you, I'm very nervous today. I usually come in, I do speeches all the time. I talk all the time about what I know. Investments, education, policy. And if any of you want to ask me questions about investments and all that, come find me. I will be here all day long. Until that you can say you heard me talk about the financial sector, I'll give you my favorite quote. My favorite quote is this one. I start every speech with it. Credit is a financial transaction with a moral lineage. Because you only invest in people or communities if you believe in their future. So the next time somebody tells you they can't invest in you or your community, ask them why. So anyway, now you heard my financial speech. But today, I was told to do something inspiring. And this is nerve-wracking for me because if I'm going to give you a piece of my life story, I need you guys to have a very open mind. So I'm going to go to the next slide because normally we have, oh, my clicker. Where's that clicker? Guys, do I have the way to move the slides? I didn't have a clicker. Anybody? Okay, don't worry about it. So normally we talk about our successes. They put you up on stage to talk about our successes. If you're not up on stage, you have all these ways to talk about how great you are. All of them. I didn't put Twitter up there because then I would have to say Trump is great, and then I'm going to put that up there. That's not going to happen. For me, thank you. I'm about to talk to you about what is not easy to talk about, which is my breaking moments. And we all have breaking moments. All of us have those moments as women, as mothers, as friends, as colleagues, as professionals where we break. And nobody lets you talk about them, but I'm here to tell you that it's in those breaking moments that your breakthroughs can be found. And until we do what we need to do, we're not going to be able to move ourselves into where we should be, into where your destiny and purpose are. And if you don't find your destiny and purpose, you might as well have been born a tree, because a tree has more purpose and destiny. You have to get through your breaking moments to get to that. Your breaking moments will lead you to your greatest breakthroughs. And like I said, I'm nervous. This is the first time in about 10 years I have a script. But you need to know the difference. Your breaking moments becoming your breakthroughs is not lo que no te mata engorda. It's not what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Because sometimes things don't kill you, but it doesn't make you stronger unless you do the work. So, you can make a decision today, and I hope I help you get there, that there's a difference between the two. And a whole body of my work for many years was around the impact of toxic stress on the brain. But to make a breaking moment become a breakthrough, there are some steps. And let me start with never wasting your pain. So I am the daughter of Rosa. If she heard me say Rosita, she'd kill me. Pero Rosita Perez Ferrer Santiago. The most brilliant woman I've ever met. My mother, I get all choked up. My mother's an amazing force. She's got the biggest heart I've ever met in a woman that's only about 4 feet tall. My mother opened the first AIDS hospice in the city of Philadelphia in 1982 when nobody wanted to touch an AIDS patient. I grew up the princess of the Puerto Rican gay community in Philadelphia because they all knew me. But I'm also the daughter, oops, I went too far. I'm also the daughter of Jose Miguel Santiago Ortiz, a brilliant man, well-read, well-educated, but a man who never worked with his own broken moments. So when you don't deal with your broken moments, sometimes they break you. So I'm the daughter of a drug addict. My mother's breaking moments were our homelessness, our abuse, our trauma. And we had 3 children. There were 3 children in my family, my sister, my brother, and I. My father physically, sexually abused only one of his children. Never found out why. But the breaking moments that he lived through and the breaking moments that I lived through took 2 very different turns, because I learned the steps that I'm talking to you about today. There's a difference between getting through those tough moments and growing through them. And I'm talking about this today because Puerto Rico is in one of its toughest breaking moments, and we have been. This is the moment where we decide if we're going to be part of the miracle that will be the rebirth of Puerto Rico, or whether we get stuck in the pain and the brokenness. So I told you about I keep doing that, guys, I'm sorry, never wasting your pain. When I decided that I was not going to take the other path, I needed to figure out how I was going to fix my life. So I went on to learn and to talk about my pain. And it happened one day with I was 16, I'm in high school, my school guidance counselor, back then quite racist and quite open about it. I guess it's kind of similar to what's happening now. But the guidance counselor says to another teacher, these little Latinas are so fiery. Why are you always angry? And I realized I had been insulted. And I was in the middle of all my pain, so I told her exactly why I was angry. And I laid out my life story. And in a few minutes, I left that woman stunned and speechless. And she had nothing to offer me. And that's when I decided, there's power in your story. And I decided now I can do this. Invest the time to figure out what that all was. There was a purpose for all of it. So I invested the time, and I took myself through years of college and therapy and meditation, and many, many degrees later, after having studied resiliency theories and trauma-informed care, realized that there was a secret to the pain, and that secret was to share it in a way that created change in someone else. Your experiences, each of you here who are trying to rebuild your lives, rebuild your businesses, just rebuild you. There's something to be shared, and we should all share it with each other. And now I'm going to tell you something really silly. So for a person who's avoided religion like the plague, I used to say that if I walked into a church, the pillars would shake and fall on me. All the years of research I did about trauma-informed care and resiliency, and it was a Bible story that helped me figure out the answer, which my mother, I'd never repeated this in front of my mom. If I told her today, she'd have a stroke. So it was, and I'm going to butcher the story because, like I said, religion's not my thing. So anybody here who knows the story well, please don't yell at me later. But it was the miracle of the fish and the loaves of bread. And the fish and the loaves of bread, it wasn't like, again, I'm going to destroy the story, so I'm sorry. It wasn't like the fish and the loaves of bread were there for 5,000 people, and he said, poof, and 5,000 pieces of fish and bread appeared. No. The miracle in this story was that every time he broke a piece, there was more to give. And in the breaking is where the miracle was. Broke a piece, shared it, and all of a sudden, everyone was satisfied, and they picked up the rest of the broken pieces. Of all the years of study and research that I've done on resiliency, this is what helped me kind of go, oh, that's what's going on. I invested the time, I shared the experiences, I did the work, and I'm taking a huge risk here today with you, telling you a personal story that if my family in Cuomo knew I was talking about my drug-addicted father, they would die. But you take risks, and every time you share, you're taking a risk. And I'm asking you all here today, who are here together to build yourselves and a new Puerto Rico, to take the time to get to know each other, take a risk, talk to each other, share, be here for one another. But taking a risk keeps you with your hustle. Puerto Rico's always had hustle, always. Nos inventamos all kinds of things, because we do. Never lose the hustle, but you need to take risks to keep the hustle. So if you haven't met someone here today that you need to meet, go out and find them. Meet each other, talk to each other, and then understand that everything you're learning here, once you've not wasted any moment of your pain, and once you've invested the time and gotten to know each other and sharing, you take these risks together, understand that we will be rebuilding together our lives, our island, our businesses. We will rebuild because we must. Because breaking moments allow you to take a risk. They allow you to be creative. They allow you to start all over again. So start all over again. I myself am selling my 4-acre plot of land in New Jersey, and I'm coming here. Because this is where the miracle will happen. I'm out of time, and I just wanted to remind you again, never waste your pain. Puerto Rico's been through it. Use it. It will be your differentiating factor. Invest the time in learning. Share with each other. Take the risks. Don't lose your hustle. Rebuild, rest, and then repeat. And the other piece I didn't tell you about was my risk. I got 10 seconds. Here's my last big story, because I have friends here today. When I lost my brother in 2009, I lost him 8 months after losing my father. It was the worst pain of my life. The pain that you guys feel here. I had to start all over again. just like you guys are starting all over again. I left, I took a wheelie bag, I went to Washington, D.C. with nothing. I knew no one. And there was a woman who was supposed to be here today who let me sleep in her house. She didn't even know me. And then the group of people that I met there have become, I took a risk with all of them. I knew no one, I knew nothing. I went to work for a president who I still think is my president. And I started all over again. It was the people that I shared my story with that became my most fervent supporters. And I'm going to shout you guys out now because I'm looking at one of them, and there's Francis, who you just heard from. Where's Mac? Maria Cristina, I know you're out there. This group of women was my greatest blessing. Trust me, when you share your pain, you take the risk, and you start to rebuild, the people that you need will appear. Good luck to all of you.